The new chief of war is finally here, and as a Hawaiian, I have been waiting for years for this series to drop. And now we have the first 2 episodes. And for those who are not from Hawaii, there are probably several things that you missed. So in this video, we are talking 45 Hawaiian details that make this such a great show. I'm going to focus on cultural and historical elements instead of plot. Things that would add to someone's understanding of what is already going on. So let's get right into it. If you want to watch with Hawaiian subtitles, you can. I don't know of any other show where you can do that except this one. The setting for the show is around 1780s Hawaii. The 4 major islands, Oahu, Kauai, Maui, and Hawaii, all had ruling chiefs. And the smaller islands like Kaho'olawe or Ni'ihau, they paid tribute to one of the bigger islands. The quote, "A star with a feathered cape will signal the rise of a great king who will unite the kingdoms and end the age of war." The star with a feathered cape is a comet, which is said to have appeared in the early morning of King Kamehameha the Great's birth. And he is the one who united all the Hawaiian Islands and ended many years of war. On a note, I'm not sure if that exact wording exists outside of this show, but the elements of it are all commonly known. We see a comet shooting across the clear sky. Kamehameha was actually born during a terrible thunderstorm. So the comet was there, but the sky was definitely not clear when he was born. The tea leaf cape is called a ki'ahu. It shows their rank, but it's also used for this ceremonial purpose. While tea leaves are green, these are yellow because they have been in use for a long time, and they have changed color due to wear. We see the tattoos on Ka'aiana's arm, which are Jason Momoa's real tattoos. The stacked triangles often represent prowess in war and are shark teeth, which is later confirmed by Ka'ahumanu. The ava root that we see, also known as kava in other cultures, is a sedative, so they use it to calm the shark down. Since this series is pretty cheeky, and we get our first cheeky experience here, a malo was the traditional common garb worn by men. And no, it wouldn't cover the bum. In your death, may life be preserved. This is a common practice even today, and even with plants. Hawaiians traditionally would give thanks for what was given to us and ensure that it would be used to continue to sustain life. In the kingdom of Kauai at that time, the ruling chief probably would have been Kaumuali'i. When that young boy is wearing a headpiece and brought out the cape, that is definitely kapu, which means that it is restricted. He for sure would have been punished. In real life, Ka'aiana was born on Kauai, fled to Maui, where he became a member of the royal court. Then he left that court to take refuge on Kauai. Kahekili was a major rival to Kamehameha. He was very much a powerful and feared ali'i, or high chief, in Hawaii. He was a warring chief, and his name Kahekili meant the thunder. He tattooed one half of his body from head to toe, copying the god of thunder, Kanehekili. One side dark, one side light. He unified Maui, Molokai, Lanai, and Kaho'olawe. Let's talk about this spear throwing scene. This is a test to prove their status. You can see that several could not pass this test, but Ka'aiana does. These practices of giving a test right before meeting the ali'i were not uncommon, especially for someone who is new or someone who is returning after a long absence. When meeting Kahekili for the first time, Ka'aiana says, "It is thunder who shakes the skies." Kahekili is that thunder because his name, Kahekili, means thunder. This is the second time that Temuera Morrison and Jason Momoa have shared a hone. They also shared a hone in Aquaman when Jason Momoa played Aquaman and Temuera Morrison played his dad. The ancient prophecy that is discussed here is speaking of King Kamehameha the Great. Starting a fire with a coconut is a real thing. We don't commonly do it today, but lots of Hawaiians and Polynesians know how to do it. Ancestral bones are of immense importance to Hawaiian people. You can see them everywhere in this show. Taula is a messenger from the gods. While this specific character was created for the show, the concept is certainly traditional. And notice how there are no footsteps after she leaves Ka'aiana. I love the mystery. Is she real? Is she not? Are her visitations real? It's nice to keep it mysterious. We killed chiefs, warriors, and common men for this king who has lost his way. Ua papehi ia na ali'i na kua, ame na maka ainana, no kahekili. This is such a great statement about war from someone who is and who knows that he will likely be involved with war his entire life, speaking of Ka'aiana. In a show that isn't shy to show the brutality of war amongst the native people. To add to this comment about Ka'aiana, I'd like to read from this book called Ruling Chiefs of Hawaii by Kamakau. I want to read it because I think the content here is closely related to what Ka'aiana is saying. The constant wars of old days were another cause of depopulation. Among the non-combatants, even women were cut down and little children killed. But the race was on the decrease even before the coming of the missionaries. This was due in part to the merciless battles that had been fought, in which the earth was literally covered with the innocents who were slaughtered. Now, I read this not to highlight the atrocities of Hawaiians in war, but more as a thank you to Jason Momoa and the creators of the show for highlighting how terrible war really is. Candlenut kukui have multiple uses. They can be eaten but must be prepared as they are mildly toxic. They can be used for light because of their oil, or they can be used in leis as decoration, which was an honor because it took several hours to polish each nut. Heke made the lei so that Nahi could wear the lei as a blessing. This is the essence of a lei, not the "this is cute" that we usually get. Leis had meaning and significance. Traditionally, leis would have a meaning. Women, especially those of ali'i rank, did fight alongside the men. Some women even served as strategic advisors. Ka'ahumanu was one of the most important figures in Kamehameha's court and in the history of Hawaii. Married to Kamehameha, she became the most powerful of his wives. Yes, Kamehameha had multiple wives. It was a common practice among the ali'i. The unwillingness of Ka'ahumanu's uncle to teach her the star map is important for two reasons. Number one, yes, it was generally kapu or forbidden for women to be taught the deep knowledge of the wayfaring stars, something that the Moana movie skipped over, understandably so. And two, Ka'ahumanu is known for breaking kapu. She is known for being the one who would cross those previously forbidden boundaries and, for example, eat with the men. It is very relevant and appropriate for this conversation to be included. Ka'ahumanu was betrothed to Kamehameha at a very young age. She was probably married to him when she was still a teenager. Ka'ahumanu's father, Ke'eaumoku, was a strong and key supporter of Kamehameha, which is why Kamehameha and Ka'ahumanu were married. Let's point out an interesting thing here. If you noticed, they frequently say people's names. They say Ka'yana a lot. They address him. This is because names have meaning and demand respect. This is especially true for the ali'i, the chiefs. We speak their names out of respect, and we do not say their names if we do not need to. And in line with that, even though the spirit of Kamehameha is everywhere, because we, the audience, know that he is the one to fulfill all of these prophecies, they do not know this yet, so they have not said his name even once. Ka'yana breaks his father's club and leaves it on the altar in a heiau, a temple or sacred place. This is as strong a statement as could be made to reject Kahekili, breaking his main weapon of war. When Kahekili mentions that we don't need the man Ka'yana, but we need the mana, it means that we need the strength of Ka'yana's name or reputation, not Ka'yana himself. Think of mana as spiritual strength, or in a rhetorical terms, we could call it ethos. Not in a defining way, but it works for this instance, as mana is definitely more encompassing than the term ethos. But that is what Kahekili is talking about here. These are similar politics as what is going on with Maximus in the movie Gladiator. Heke is replanting what she harvested. This is a very important cultural principle related to malama aina. Malama aina means to care for the land. The land gives us what we need and we respect and take care of it in return. We can also refer to this as ho'okupu, reciprocity. Many Hawaiians don't practice this, they live this principle. While the name of the Westerner's ship isn't mentioned in the show, it is probably at least inspired by the Nutka, a merchant vessel that Ka'yana did actually travel on. The headdress that Ka'ahumanu's mother gives her is a lei po'o. It is a symbol of Ka'ahumanu's rank and lineage. It is used later in the episode to show this. Ka'ahumanu is visited in the same place as Ka'yana by Taula. Notice that she isn't necessarily scared by her presence, probably because she expected it. Now there is some great writing in this scene. We finally hear the name of Kamehameha when Taula tells Ka'ahumanu that Ka'ahumanu will not bear it alone. A'ohe lo'ai Kamehameha. Kamehameha means lonely or alone. So we finally get our first mention or foreshadowing of that great chief. He's not directly mentioned, but it certainly is intentional. Ka'ahumanu mentions that she was born in a cave, which is true. She was born in a cave. Also, yes, her father was an enemy of Kahekili because her father was a member of Kamehameha's court. Guns were of great significance in Hawaii. And while it is unlikely that Hawaiians traded for or received guns from Captain Cook, they were a big reason why conflict with Westerners was so one-sided for so long. When Ka'yana first encounters the sailors, it is likely that he would have known how to speak at least a little English. Ka'yana is known for having traveled and been aware of Western culture and language. One of my favorite things to see in this series is all the canoes that were built just for this show. According to production reports, they built 47 traditional double-hulled canoes for the series, and they were built and sourced using traditional methods. At the end, when they find John the Sailor Man, my take from this is it's showing Ka'ahumanu's character, the one who is willing to take risks to do what she feels is right. That is an inherent part of the character of the real Ka'ahumanu. Marley is totally trigger happy. That dude needs to be smacked by his captain. That's our list for today. Let me know in the comments which details you already knew or which ones you missed. I plan on coming back every 2 episodes to drop my mana'o or my thoughts on things that others may have missed in this series. So make sure that you hit that follow button so that you never miss a video. Ahui ho, we'll see you next time.